those of you who are here and who don't know about eTwinning, let me tell you that eTwinning, you may find more info about it if you just put eTwinning in your browser, and it's a web where all teachers from Europe get together and they work in groups, collaborative working, and they arrange projects and work together. So inside the eTwinning platform, there are featured groups where they are moderated by teachers like myself. And this webinar that we are about to begin now, it's organized by the STEM group, so the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. So I'm going to introduce you to the agenda, so what we are going to do throughout this 1 hour more or less webinar. After all, I will give the floor to Silvia Alcaraz-Dominguez from the University of Barcelona, who is going to be the expert talking about the engaged materials. Okay? So what are we going to do in this webinar? Okay, first of all, you might see that your microphones are turned off. That way, it's for easier management of the webinar. Once I give the floor to Silvia, I will be looking through the chat. So if you have any question, please write it down on the chat. I will note it down, and then we will have a special time for questions and answers, and then Silvia or myself will be answering your questions. So please, all comments you would like to do, write it down in the chat, and then we will go through them. For those of you who are Twitter experts and like tweeting, we will be using the hashtag eTwinning, so it's eTwinning plus STEM throughout the webinar. So please feel free to tweet anything about what we are going to be talking through the webinar. And without further ado, I will give the floor to Silvia in just a few minutes. She will be, she is also a Twitter user, so you may find her at FutureLearnUB, okay? Once she finishes, we will have then a time for questions and answers. We will go through what you have said in the chat. Afterwards, approximately at 10 minutes to 7, I will present you with an experience at the Codema, which is my school. There we have used the engaged materials in the classroom, and I will be speaking to you, telling you how was the experience. Finally, we will have a last time for questions and answers, and usually approximately at 7 o'clock we will be finishing the webinar, okay? So, let me introduce you to Silvia Alcaraz. Okay, she's, as I told you, you may find her in Twitter in FutureLearnUB. She is an associate lecturer within the University of Barcelona in the education faculty, and she is also a pre-service and in-service teacher trainer. Additionally, she's a research assistant in the field of learning technologies and STEM. Okay, so now I'm going to give the floor to Silvia so she can present and speak about the expert talk. Your turn, Silvia. So.
Thank you, Rafa.
Yeah.
I hope you can hear me well. Okay, so I can only say thank you for inviting me to this webinar, to this expert talk. It's a pleasure for me to share with you a project I'm working on, which is designed, it is implemented, and it is thought for people like you. So it is it's aimed for teachers who are in the field of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, especially for secondary school. But the most important part is that they are committed to improving their teaching, they are innovative and interested, just like you are. So I hope this talk is useful for you. I just want to mention I'm not an English native speaker, but I will do my best. I hope you can understand me. Otherwise, just write in the chat and yeah. Okay, so what I will do is I will explain really briefly the context of this project. It's a European project. I will explain a little bit the pedagogical foundations that are behind it, and later I will focus my talk on the products of this project. This is the things that you can really use, which are, as Rafa mentioned, mainly resources, but also training activities, all the things that you can just use, right, in a free way and open. So let me change slides. So this project starts from one question. This question is hopefully shown on your screen now, and it is: how can we ensure that students apply science to their lives? So what we realized is that traditionally science has been taught as a body of knowledge which is static, which is developed by scientists, which is agreed by scientists in the lab, and then students just learn science at school in a way that is not contextualized, in a way that is abstract, and so on. I'm sure that teachers like you have already innovated and are not teaching science this way, but I think we can agree that this is not the majority, right? So, but what happened in the recent years? The curriculum for science in most European countries has changed, or is changing, actually. It's in a process of change. And in which direction it's changing? Well, science has to be applied, first of all. So students do not learn just some formulas, some concepts, no. They must be able to apply this knowledge in solving particular problems or particular experiments, whatever you call it, but in a practical way. So they use these concepts or this knowledge with a purpose. This is one of the characteristics of this change. It's one of those directions. But science teaching is also changing in another way, and it's in a way that it's emphasizing the interactions between science and society. So this means that at school, students must understand that science and society are directly linked. They are interacting, and the changes in society affect science and vice versa. So they must be able to take part in decision-making processes that affect science. They must be able to have opinions that are founded, that they are grounded in scientific knowledge. They must be able at the end to participate in science and to take an active role in it. This is true, as I said, for most of the curriculums in Europe. We have done a research about this, and it's a trend. And it is also a trend in these PISA tests, the external evaluation that many countries are using also to check the quality of education. So there are many reasons to work on this direction, that students apply science to their life. They don't learn it just as an abstract thing, but they find a use for it in their life. So a way to really, or to learn more about what I just tried to explain you, is this concept, research and responsible research and innovation, sorry. It's called RRI. So this project I'm presenting you today is part of this agenda of the European Union, that aims or promotes that scientific research and innovation are developed in collaboration with society. So in collaboration with citizens, associations, governments, companies, and others, including students. So this is the concept that is behind this project: responsible research and innovation. At the end, we want to live in a society that is, committed to the research and innovation activities that are developed, so that these activities respond to the values of this society, to the priorities of this society, and so on. Well, so how to, coming back to the initial question, how to make students apply science to their life? Well, we found out that one way was to use cutting-edge science and technology. This is the latest discoveries and the latest news on science could be used to motivate these students, to show them that science has an effect on their environment, on their life. But okay, so what happens is that this is great. Students must learn these different perspectives towards science, but what happens with teachers? Because teachers are necessary collaborators in this change. If teachers cannot teach in this way, then students will not learn science in this way. Well, our project, the ENGAGE project, focuses on teachers. So everything we do is for you. As you can see here in the screen, one of the goals, or the first goal of the project, is to help teachers to address contemporary science issues and applications relevant to students. So to bring contemporary science into the classroom. We want to help you to do that. Second, we want to help teachers to develop their beliefs, knowledge, and practice for RRI. This is, teachers cannot be alone in this process, but they must be guided in learning all the pedagogical foundings behind these methodologies, to foster the practice at school, and so on. It's not only theory, but being able to use this approach in the classroom. And finally, as a third goal, we could find that we want to provide students a strong foundation to engage in science issues that they will meet during their lives. And you will see more about this as this presentation follows. So what do we think that students should learn? In the context I just described, we have defined our ENGAGE RRI curriculum. These are the knowledge and the skills that students should have in this context, right? So inside the blue ball, you can see the what we call the science and society knowledge. These are contents about the nature of science that it is useful for students to understand. So they must understand, for instance, science media. As you can see inside this blue ball, what do we mean by science media? Well, for instance, many times media tells stories about scientific discoveries, or about epidemias, or about natural phenomena, or about climate change, about many issues related to science and to scientific knowledge. But media doesn't always provide a systematic view on these scientific issues. Media can be sensationalist, it can be simplistic, can use sources that are not completely scientific. So we think that students must be able to read this media, even if it is websites or videos or the news, the traditional news. They must understand the concepts behind this media so that they become informed in a scientific way. Well, this is just an example of one of the knowledge that students should develop in Engage. But probably the most interesting skills for you are those that are around the blue ball. So around the blue ball, you can find what we call scientific inquiry skills. So these are skills that students should develop so that they are able to inquire on science. We want that our students are able to find out by themselves about science, and that they can keep learning science and becoming active in science even after they finish school. So all these skills can help them to do that. For instance, use ethics, examine the consequences, estimate risks, and so on. One of these skills could be critic claims. You can see that this skill has this sign like that. So we mean by that students should be able to assess whether a scientific claim is really scientific or not. Where does this information come from? Is it the consequence of an experiment or not? Is this claim strong enough at a scientific level, or is it weak? So here you can find all these skills that will help students to become scientifically competent and to become citizens that can participate in science effectively and actively. So, what does Engage offer? What is the practical side of all this? It's what I promised at the beginning, things that you can use. Well, here you will see the 4 components of this project. This project, first of all, has developed and is developing curriculum materials. I will explain more about them later. You will also find the opportunity to participate in a community. We are also delivering face-to-face workshops in different countries. Probably you will find one where you live, and online courses. As for the curriculum materials, we want to provide you with lesson plans and resources, didactic resources that you can just download from the website and use. We want that you don't spend a lot of time preparing your lectures when you want to engage your students in the classroom. So for this reason, we have developed a repository that you can find here, the URL at the bottom of the presentation, which I'm going to show you now. Okay. Let me try. If there's any issue, you just let me know. But hopefully now you can see the website. As you can see here at the top, engagingscience.eu/en for the English version. But if you go to engagingscience.eu, that's it. You will find a landing page with several flags in different languages. So hopefully you will find your language here. it's a project developed in several countries, including Greece, Germany, the UK, Spain, Romania. So hopefully you will find yours. Anyway, just to show you for the purpose of this conference, here is the website, and you can see that each of these images belongs to one education resource. Okay, so here, here. Each of them is one. So I'm going to show you one, for example, Van Cola. I'm going to click on the image, and here I will see the summary of the activity. So what is the reasoning behind all these materials that we are developing? The reasoning is that they start from a real piece of news. So in this case, this material starts by a question or a proposal of prohibiting sugar drinks for people below 18 years old because of the amount of sugar that these drinks include. This is a scenario that we propose to students, and then they can use their scientific knowledge to answer to this dilemma. We call them dilemmas. So here you will find the learning objectives of this activity. You will also find the curriculum link. This is how does this activity respond to goals that are in the curriculum of my country. So for instance, in Spain, we also have that with our national curriculum. So teachers, when they go here, they can choose whether this material is useful or not at the moment they want to use it, or they want to use it when they are teaching this or that. Also, here we mention the level of the students that can use this activity. So it will say students below 12 years old or above 13 or so on. Here where it says running the activity, you can find a summary step by step of the development of the lesson and some links. Okay, but the most important thing for you is what you can see here is the 3 files that are available for download for free just by clicking here. After registering for free in this website, you have the right to download all the materials that are published here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you in more detail a sample of these documents that you can download. So I hope you can see my presentation now. And here I have downloaded the teacher guide for one material called Ebola. I'm sure you can remember that some months ago the Ebola illness spread or was supposed to spread in Africa and also Europe, which was worrying people a lot and which was on the news all the time. So we developed this material that teachers could download, and here is the teacher guide. So you can see again an overview, the learning goals of the activity, how it is linked to the curriculum, but you can also see on the right, step by step, how to implement this activity. So it starts with a dilemma. In this case, will you try the vaccine for Ebola or not? So your students will quickly say, oh no, I will not try this vaccine, what if I get ill? But others will say, oh yes, but it's important to try the vaccine because otherwise we will never find how to cure this illness. But also, well, starting from this interest that students get, then the activity goes step by step into guiding students to solve this dilemma. And for solving this dilemma, they should use the scientific knowledge that they already know. So you will see here, you will see also, I downloaded from the website a PowerPoint that is available for you as well. It's here at the top where it says presentation. You can find the slides of this PowerPoint, including a letter from the authorities inviting students to test this vaccine. Then we have another slide as a reminder of what is Ebola, how does this virus work, and how will this vaccine work also. Different arguments for and against trying this vaccine. And at the bottom, you will find student sheets. This is also downloadable from the website. And students will work with these sheets where they can find, again, information about the vaccine. They will find tools to make the decision, different sources of information, and so on. The idea is that they develop these skills I presented you before, which we call RRI skills, that will help them to develop critical thinking, to become more active in science, to inquiry themselves about an issue that is of interest for society, but also relevant for science, and so on. Probably Rafa can tell you more later about his experience with his students, so you will be excited to hear how this works in the classroom. We have lots of teachers in Spain and other countries that are using these materials, and the answer is always the same. My students were really engaged. Sometimes they even spoke a lot, and then the problem is that they are too engaged, right? So we try to give you these activities as a complement to your usual science lessons. This is not meant to substitute your teaching about concepts or about curricular content. This is meant to use as an application of existing knowledge to solve a very particular problem that affects society. And in this way, students will see that science has an impact on their life, and hopefully they will become more motivated in your lessons, but also to pursue maybe a scientific career. So by the end of the project, this is 1 year from now, we will have 60 dilemmas on this website. As you can see here, just some examples, the banned coke material, which is related to health issues, the Ebola material, which is related to genetics, content, and others that are all of them coming from real news, real science news. Just to tell you in this last minute a little bit more about the reasoning behind these educational materials, the reasoning behind these lessons. We have used well-grounded pedagogical theories to develop these materials. In this case, we are using inquiry-based learning methodology. I'm sure you have heard about it before, and probably you have already used it in the classroom. But one of the approaches to inquiry-based learning is the 5E model by Bybee. He first released this model in 1997, but also a revised version in 2002. And in this model, there are different phases. So each phase has different characteristics, and they should not be sequential. But to have it really clear, you will see that most of the materials on this website start by engage. They start by engaging the students. How? Well, with this sort of questions. Will you try a vaccine? Should we ban Coke? Are plants invading Europe? Some sort of plants. Is it okay to genetically modify crops? So very controversial questions or statements that will engage students really quickly. Then we make our students extend their knowledge by these activities, applying their knowledge to solving a particular problem. They also explore new knowledge. You will see on this website that there are also advanced materials. The material I showed you, Ban Coke and Ebola, are starting materials for beginning teachers. But if you feel that you are comfortable by using these materials, you have tried one of them, you can use the advanced ones. So the advanced materials include this explore phase, where the students learn new skills, not just applying existing knowledge. Then they use this knowledge to explain the problem posed in the first place. And then we have the evaluation phase, which is kind of transversal to the rest of phases, and it has to do with the teacher mostly, with the fact of guiding students in solving the dilemma and gathering evidence that these students are using the knowledge to answer the dilemma. One of the problems with these sort of activities is sometimes that students start giving opinions just by feelings, or I have heard that this is wrong, I think this is not right, but why? We want our students to use scientific knowledge to ground their opinions. So this is something we must evaluate when we run these lessons, this kind of lessons. And this is the only way to make a discussion in the classroom that is productive, that it's not a waste of time. So if you use our materials, you will make sure that students are using scientific knowledge to answer the dilemmas. They will not talk just by I think or I feel, or no, because they are working with student sheets that include arguments for and against. They include grids, they include all this scaffolding, so that it is really a science lesson. Okay. I want to tell you also about the community that is there for teachers. In this website I showed you before, you can also, let me show you again okay, here. If we go back to the website, you will see at the bottom of the material, you can find comments. This is when you register on the website, as I say, for free, you will be able to comment on materials. So here you can ask questions which will be answered by our experts, the experts belonging to each country, Romania, Greece, UK, Germany, and also get advice from other teachers that will read your comment and they can answer. This is one of the features of our community. Another of the features of our community is that you can grade the material, as you can see here in this 3 different scales. Why is this material useful for me? Well, it helps me to make students apply science content, or develop inquiry skills, or engage them, making them interested. So here you can also grade the material, which is useful. Also, when you download it, see which purpose is best suited for. Other features of our community are the like button, as you can see here, with this very popular button, like, inspired by Facebook. So you can say, I like this material, or I like this comment, right? Here at the bottom, you can also like comments, okay? And let me show you my presentation again. And yes, you can also, you have the possibility to develop projects with science centers and research institutions to establish partnerships with real researchers in order for you to arrange a visit to their research center with your students, where they can find out more about genetics, in this case for Ebola, or you can go to a laboratory, and so on. This is also part of the features that are in our community. I'm almost finishing now. I just want to tell you that this project also organizes face-to-face workshops. This you will find out in the website as well. Here you can see a couple of pictures of workshops we did in Madrid, and they are usually between 1 hour and 3 hours, and you get the chance to practice in first person with these materials as if you were students. So you can really grasp the development of the activity, the vibe, and it's really, really useful for teachers to go to these workshops. You can ask all the questions you want to experts, and well, learn as much as you like from other teachers as well. The online courses are also free of charge, and you can just register in our website when the time comes. So for instance, we have now finished one, I'm sorry to say, but we will do more courses starting in January or February. So you just find out about them in the website too. And these courses last between 3 and 6 weeks, with working hours between 10, 20 hours, depending on the country. But they are really useful to learn how to use these materials and how to develop your own materials, because maybe you are interested in this sort of approach and you want to develop your own. So here you can also find the steps to design your own materials. You can get in touch with other teachers that are using the materials, exchange practices, and so on. So, well, I'm almost done. As a summary, I want to show you these 3 points: how to participate in this exciting project that will really change the way your students behave in science classroom. First, register on the website and download materials, as many as you want. Take them, check them, look at the teacher guide, look at the student sheets, find out how to use them in your classroom. Now, later, after teaching genetics, after teaching, I don't know, physics, okay? You use them is the second point. And the third point is reflect and publish a comment. In this way, we can get feedback about your experience in the classroom. This is the most important for us, because this project, as I said at the beginning, is made for you. It's made for facilitating your task in the classroom. to facilitate student engagement and still without forgetting the curricular content. So just to show you all the institutions participating in this project, it's 12 countries. Hopefully you find yours here. Norway, Spain, UK, Israel, Netherlands. And my last slide. Here you can see my email, silvia.alcaraz@ub.edu. Please write here any questions you have. Even after this talk, I think we have some minutes for questions, but you can write here anytime you like. The Twitter is the one that Rafa just mentioned, and at the bottom you will see our Facebook page. If you say you like this page, you will get all the updates on this project and other projects related to STEM that will be of interest to you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Silvia. It has been a lot of information and very well explained, and I think it really is a very good project that we've had the luck that you have presented to us. So now we have some minutes. If any of the participants would like to have any question, please feel free to write it down in the chat so we can ask Silvia to comment it. And if there are no questions, then we move to the next part of the webinar, where I will be showing you the implementation of one of the materials in a school. So, okay, so we will begin. We will begin with the next part of the webinar. So what I'm going to show you is how we have implemented the materials in the Codema school. Okay, so first of all, where is the Codema school? We are a school in Spain, in the north of Spain, in Asturias. It's a religious school, a Catholic one, and here is our webpage. If you want to visit us, it's www.codema.es. And there you will see a lot of info on the school, but probably the best place to have info on us is in the Twitter of the school. So if you are Twitter users, you will see here a lot of info from the school. It's Codema Gijón. Okay. So what is one of the main objectives of our school? We are specialized in STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and we are proudly participating in many STEM projects that I've put here some of them. So you can see that we are in Genius, Scientix, GoLab, NanoOpinion. There are a lot of projects that we participate. So probably here you have one of the things that we do at our school. As we have students from pre-primary to last year of secondary. So one of the things that we usually do is a lot of mixing of the students and Science Week, and these are images from our last Science Week that was last year. Here are some more images, and you see that we are more into our students working collaboratively and trying new things and hands-on activities. So some last bits of info on my school. We have implemented the multiple intelligences from Gartner since 2013 and the collaborative working since last year. So our students, they are all together in groups. They are not standing separately. They are all together. So also one important thing is that teachers all Wednesdays dedicate 2 hours to continuous professional development, and it's mainly internal. So among us, we teach ourselves the things that we try, and also we are a very strongly European school with a lot of exchanges going on. We are also in Erasmus+, eTwinning, so a lot of things going on. So the first thing would be where we first met Silvia and the Engage project, and it was in one of these STEM activities that took place in in Madrid. It's called Fin de Científico, and there the schools go, and it's like a market where all the schools, it's like a science fair, and the schools go with some projects, and the people just go by and see and ask and touch. It's quite fun, and so we met there Silvia and the Engaged project. Important things, we in Spain have just changed the educational law. So now there is a subject that is called scientific culture, that is in one of the last years of secondary school. And this new subject, we saw it was a good moment to implement the materials from the Engaged project in it. So the three teachers who teach the subject just spoke to the Engaged coordinator, the University of Barcelona, and we among us, we said, okay, let's work together and let's try the materials, and let's see if we have an impact and how is the experience in our school. So once the school year began, we decided that we were going to implement the Life on Enceladus activity, which is one of the activities that you can find in the web page of the project that Silvia has just shown to us. So how did we organize it? First of all, the teachers met, and we prepared all the materials that we needed. And we always speak to our students and tell them prior to the activity that they are taking part in a European project that is coordinated in Spain by the University of Barcelona, that they are going to try some new materials, a new way of having the science lesson, so they know what they are doing. Okay? It's not an activity that doesn't go into the curricula, it's an activity that is curricular linked and that they are going to be evaluated with what they produce. So what did we do? Well, the good thing about the activities from the Engaged project is that you have a teacher guide, you have PowerPoints, you have videos, everything is all together in one site in the web. You just have to download it, prepare it. So we just prepare the evidences, because the way of working with these dilemmas is that you present your students with a question, a problem, and you give them evidences that they have to sort out if they are they give a positive answer or a negative answer to the question that the teacher shows them at the beginning of the lesson. So we prepare the materials, we gave them to the students, and we just let them work, because it's also a very good thing is that you put the PowerPoint, you speak to the students, you tell them what they are going to do, and then they work together, and they work very well, because the activity is very straightforward, they know what to do, and they just have to start thinking. So a lot of things go in their mind, and they have to mobilize a lot of intelligences there. So it's very good. So here are some pictures of the activities. Here you can see my students, and they have the photocopies with the evidences, and they are working in groups. That's the way they are in all subjects in my school, together in groups of 3 or 4. And here they are just working and reaching conclusions on how they are going to answer the dilemma that was first said in this activity. So, after the activity, what can I tell you? If once we have tried the activity in our school, what did we see? Okay, so there are things that are very good, and one thing that it's not bad, but it's a thing that we have to take into account. The good things is that, as you've seen in my school, we have tested a lot of materials from different projects. I can say that the materials from the Engaged project are the first materials that we have that we didn't have to modify to use them directly in the classroom. So this is very important. At least for me as a teacher, it was very quick. We took the PowerPoint, we didn't have to modify anything. We put the PowerPoint in the classroom beamer, we used the materials, we didn't modify anything, we just printed them, gave the handouts to the students, and We did everything. Another very important thing is that if you go to the web, depending on your country, the curricular is more strict or less strict. The good thing is that the materials are all curricular linked, so you can find whether they are suitable for your lesson or not. And that's also a lot of time that is saved, because it's already done that work. And also the good thing, I mean, when we try these kind of things in the classroom, of course, we don't want our students to have a bad experience. We want the activity to be fun and that they learn at the end of the activity. And also, this was a very fun activity for them to do, and they enjoyed a lot. Because they enjoyed it a lot, here comes the one thing that is negative, that is that we have in Spain, at least in my school, we have our lessons periods are 55 minutes, and we found that we didn't have enough time, so we have to cut the activity. The debate that comes once each group of students reach their conclusions, as they are having to think about the conclusions, there is not a good conclusion or a bad conclusion. So different groups can reach different conclusions. So in the end, there is like a debate where the students really among them have to reach the final conclusion of the classroom. And it was really a very good thing, but it was a lot of time and we had to cut it because we had reached the end of the lesson. So this is the only thing that, well, we have to fine-tune it for the next time we use the materials. So that's all I wanted to say to you. Thank you very much for assisting to this webinar, and here you have my contact. It's Rafa Montero at codema.es, and here you also have my Twitter account. Please feel free to send me any email if you need anything, and remember, as I have already written down in the chat, we will put in eTwinning events a recording of the webinar. We will also put it in the eTwinning STEM group. Okay, all the info will go there. And if you are not an eTwinning user, please write down your email. I already have several of you, so I will be sending you the link to the webinar. Okay, once we retrieve the video. So now we have 4 minutes till 7 o'clock, so please feel free if you want to ask any questions, either to Silvia or myself. And if not, I really want to thank you for coming to this webinar of the eTwinning STEM group, and thank you very much. Okay, so seems that there are no questions, so thank you very much to all of you. Thanks for coming. Thank you very much, Silvia. It's been a pleasure to have you here with us. So to all of you, try the materials, send comments to Silvia or myself. If you have any questions, please write us and we will try to see you. See you next time. Okay, bye. Thank you very much.